It's changing all the time. Um, as I'm sure you all know, that's why you're here. I'm guessing it's because generative AI is rapidly evolving. So Helen's going to give us a bit of a scene setting presentation. Then after that, we'll have a few polls and things to see what people are doing in their own institutions and some discussion topics as well. And then we'll see where that takes us. We've got some other things in our back pockets as well to share with you. But we really want to hear from you. We want your experiences either by using the chat or by grabbing the microphone. I'm loving everyone introducing themselves. Please keep doing that. It's fab. Also, I've got a, a community favorite, I'm just going to say, Laura, my colleague Laura, who's also subject specialist for accessibility, here
I'm
today
just,
as well.
you're saying a community favourite, and I'm nodding, going, yes, it will be.
Who's
It's
that?
me.
Like,
That's not, no, that's not. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. And I'm loving your chat. I've clearly kicked off things in the chat with the name your favourite film. So I will be responding
oh,
to all of those as we
I
go.
need to
The
get into that.
Goonies, I
Right, okay.
love that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so Chariots of Fire, there's another one. There's
Oh,
some classics going on
oh
in the
my
chat.
God,
So
Mulholland
yeah.
Drive. Right, David and I'll have to have a side chat where we compare Mulholland Drive and Lost Highway to see which is best because I go between them. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going to stop blethering
Yeah.
and hand over now to some. I always embarrass Helen by calling her the star of the show, so obviously I'm just going to keep doing that. It's the star of the show, Helen Nicholson, who's an AI specialist at Jisc, to kick us off and just make sure we all understand what on earth we're even talking about today. So over to you, Helen.
Thank you very much, Kelly. That was no pressure at all there. Hopefully you can all see my slides. I'll just introduce myself again, though, in case any of you haven't met me. So I work in the AI team at Jisc. So our team is really focused on supporting all of you with the ethical and effective adoption of AI technology, which of course is a huge and evolving challenge, as Kelly said there. And something that I've been quite focused on and had a lot of work with the accessibility team and with Kelly and Laura is looking at AI to enhance accessibility and its use in assistive technology. So I think what we're recognizing and what we want to talk about today is particularly this use of generative AI. So tools and systems that are used to generate content, whether that be audio, text, or images, or even code, as and in assistive tech. So I think it is worth noting, of course, that AI and assistive technology have a long history together. AI is a key component of a lot of common tools, things like grammar checkers, screen readers, translation, of course, and things like digital assistants like Alexa, text to speech. Could go on and on listing those examples that I'm sure a lot of us are aware of. But what we're seeing, particularly, of course, over the last couple of years with the availability of generative AI, is that this is coming in both as a tool itself to support users and to enhance accessibility, and it's also being integrated into a lot of those existing tools and services that we're already using. So I think it's worth having a look maybe at some of those examples before we kick off the discussion so that we've got a good idea of the kind of things that we're talking about, because I think it is quite a complex area in a way. There's a lot of different things going on. A lot of them are user-led. Some of them are more sort of product-led or by developers. I think we can kind of separate it to help us into that as a technology and in assistive technology. So when we're talking about generative AI as assistive tech, I think what we're looking at is sort of general generative AI tools, things like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot, for example, which haven't really been released as assistive tech, but are being used for assistive purposes. So a couple of those examples, I mentioned Copilot already, and I know this is maybe a good one to talk about because it's something a lot of us have much easier access to now. Obviously, particularly if you're an institution using Microsoft products, then you'll have access to the web version of this So it's something we're seeing a lot of use from. And that can be simple things really like using it to ask for summaries to help reduce cognitive overload when looking at things like large amounts of text. There's a huge amount of sort of exploration in this area. Again, a lot of it really quite user-led as people are discovering what works best for them. But particularly we've seen people using it to overcome that sort of blank page anxiety, things that can be particularly challenging for neurodivergent users. And as well for even people using things like screen readers, it's a way that you can ask a question about a document and get an answer a lot more quickly rather than having to tab through, for example, and listen to the entire thing. So lots of uses there. ChatGPT as well, obviously another sort of text generation tool primarily, lots of interesting exploration here. This is an example from Ben Brumfield. He posted this one, and it's actually using ChatGPT to reformat text to, again, improve its accessibility and make it more readable by a screen reader. So in the first part of this screenshot, he's got text from a 19th century tobacco farm, which uses, historic spellings and formatting that's difficult for a screen reader to parse. And then he asks ChatGPT to do that reformatting for him so that it is more accessible. And it does really good job. So we are seeing that a lot of these tools are really helpful, and they're supporting users a lot in that variety of different ways, and maybe giving some of that personalization that we can't get with other tools. And just a last one there on these more general tools, GitHub Copilot, which is essentially a AI copilot, but for coding, to sort of really reduce that. And this is a quote from Anton, who is a developer with cerebral palsy. And he's used both ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot as a coding assistant. He writes that he was skeptical at first, but soon realized that for him, the benefit of GitHub Copilot wasn't that it could solve programming problems, but that it simplifies the physical acts of coding and writing. So he's done a really interesting piece there that we can post the link for, around how he uses AI tools and generative text tools really to reduce the physical burden of actually coding and writing, and how that's enhanced what he can do for his work and in his personal life as well. So that's the sort of generative AI as assistive tech. But then we've also got all of this, all these additional features and new services and tools as well being built with generative AI. So some examples, again, I'm sure we're familiar with a lot of these. Grammarly has been a really key one that a lot of people are talking about, because of course, a lot of our students and learners particularly use Grammarly. And it's one that has integrated generative AI to support with writing. In this screenshot from Grammarly Go, we've got buttons so that we can use it to draft outlines or research plans, can use it to brainstorm topics. It even has a set voice feature so that we can adjust the tone of text. So again, things that are often really useful for neurodivergent users, but for a variety of needs as well. And I think Grammarly is a really interesting one to talk about too, because it's one of those tools that a lot of our users have already had access to, probably for a long time. And then these have been added additionally. And there's some possibly interesting things happening there with greater access to generative AI that almost hasn't been chosen or expected. It's just been added to things we're already using. The next one, Microsoft Seeing AI. So even in tools, for example, for vision, this is a tool which allows you to upload an image typically, and you'll get an exact text readout. So it's already using AI to recognize characters and to turn that text into speech. But what they have added as well with generative AI is a feature called Ask Seeing AI, where you can then essentially access an AI chatbot that allows you to ask those questions. So it's a good example there, again, of generative AI. It's already being used in this assistive technology, in this tool, but generative AI is now enhancing that and giving further capabilities, which, as far as we can see from reviews and things, that people are finding really, really valuable. The next one there on this is more in the tools that are, again, are integrating and being created with generative AI. This is called JamWorks, and this is a transcription in AI generated notes and service. Basically, what it does is you can upload lecture recordings or seminar recordings, and it first uses speech recognition to create a transcript. So again, quite a well-established use of AI, but then it adds generative AI to turn that transcript into automatic notes and quizzes. It also even has a chatbot called Jam AI, very similar to the Seeing AI one there, where you can then interrogate further. And from what we've heard from some of the student forums we've done, features like this are, again, particularly helpful for disabled students and users. There's a lot here in that they are very approachable. You know, there's no judgment from those chatbots. They can continue asking for more examples or asking them more questions. And this is very accessible in itself, as well as, of course, these sort of tools being available basically 24/7 in a way that a personal tutor, for example, is not. And the last one here, actually, no, sorry, the second last one, Goblin tools. I mentioned this one a lot. And again, it's one actually that a lot of students and learners have mentioned to us. So this is, again, using generative AI, and it's a series of sort of one task tools. And this one is nice. It's specifically been designed, again, for neurodivergent users. This is an example of the magic to-do list, where essentially your prompt that you put in is just whatever task you need to do. So in an example there, it's create and deliver a presentation on AI use in education. And it uses generative AI to break that task down for you. And again, that's really iterative. You can keep asking it. You can break it down further and further. So it's providing a lot of that support and personalization. The actual last one I've got on here is a bit of another one that I'm interested if is much sort of being seen in this area, because there's a lot of these tools that seem like possibly they're a bit thrown together. There's a lot of these coming out. This is an example called mycopilot.ai, which says it's an AI assistant for ADHD. And it's all around using AI to manage the time on your phone, and it notifies you when you've been on too long or when you should perhaps move on. I'm interested in these though, because I do notice there's quite a lot of these. If you just search on Google, you can find a lot of these tools that are very new, use generative AI, and often, as we can see on the website image there, they use that for their imagery and their marketing too. So you can probably tell I'm a little skeptical of these. I'm not sure of how effective these are or how widespread their use is, because with all of the AI tools and products coming out now, it's such a volume, it's getting harder to discern that. So it will be interesting, actually, if anyone has used these kind of less established tools as well. Okay, so that was a good few examples, probably taken a bit much of our time there. I'll just say there are lots more in this area, and I'm really just interested in this discussion in kind of hearing a bit more about what you're all seeing, what you're using. Are there any particular challenges as well coming from this? So I'll leave it there. I'll hand back to Kelly now. And I think she's got some provoking questions for us.
I will be provoking you all. Thanks, Helen. That was really helpful. And